Envy is a deadly seed. What destroyed Emeka and his family was not poverty, but envy. When you rejoice in another man's success, blessing will also come your way. Once upon a time, in the heart of Inyembosi community, there lived a man named Mr Nwaeze. He was the most wealthiest man in the land. He was blessed with riches, kindness, and a generous heart. He had a loving wife, 3 strong boys, and 2 beautiful children. Everyone in the community knew him, not just because of his wealth, but because of the way he helped people. Each year, he gave food to the poor, create jobs for the youth, and lend money to those in need. Children loved him too, for every night they gathered in his compound to hear his sweet moonlight stories. But even the brightest sun had its shadows. Though Mr. Nwaeze was generous, he had a terrible temper. At any slightest mistake, he would scold and strike his wife. His children, still young and afraid to confront him. Time moved quickly. His first son grew up and passed his exams. With joy, Mr. Nwaeze sent him to the United Kingdom to study medicine. Years later, his second son gained admission into the University of Calabar. One day, when he returned home during a school break, he heard his father raising his voice at his mother again. But this time, the young man gathered courage and shouted in a loud, firm voice, warning his father never to do such a thing again. From that day, Mr. Nwaeze never lifted his hand against his wife. Joy filled the family again when the news came that the first son, the one who traveled overseas, would soon return home. Mr. Nwaeze announced it proudly. He threw a big welcome party, and his compound overflowed with people waiting to dance, eat, and celebrate the return of their doctor-to-be. But not everyone was happy for him. Among his friends was a man called Emeka, who smiled in front of him, but secretly carried envy in his heart. When Mr. Nwaeze told him the date of his son's arrival, Emeka pretended to be busy, but later that night he went to a juju priest to prepare a charm that would destroy both father and son. The long-awaited day came. Mr. Nwaeze and a few companions went to the airport to receive his son. Their hearts were filled with joy as they embraced, but as they drove home, tragedy struck. A trailer loaded with cement lost control and crashed onto their vehicle. Only the father and son were crushed. The others survived. The news reached the community. The celebration turned into weeping. Songs of joy turned into cries of pain. During the burial preparation, the elders consulted the shrine to know the cause of the misfortune. The gods revealed that it was Emeka's evil deeds. The spirit of Nwaeze was summoned, and he was given the right to seek justice. Months later, guilt consumed Emeka, and he confessed in public. The village spat on him, cursed him, and dragged him into the village square. There, he faced the shameful end, bringing sorrow and disgrace upon his family. Emeka left behind a wife, 3 sons, and a daughter. His first son, Chidi, was sent to Lagos to learn how to trade on fabric. He was very hardworking and honest. His master loved him, but on the very first day he was to be settled, tragedy struck again. While running errands for his master's wife, Chidi was struck by a trailer. The money that was supposed to be used to establish his future was instead used for his burial ceremony. The second son, Chimkamso, gained admission to the University of Port Harcourt to study mass communication. Life was very hard for him, but he never gave up. He studied with determination, graduated as a top-class student in his department. He was offered a job as a lecturer. Full of joy, he returned home to share the good news. Seeing his mother at a small table where she sold vegetables, he called out happily, "Mama, God has finally done it for us." His mother looked up with tears of joy, but as he crossed the road to embrace her, a vehicle suddenly crushed Chimkamso, her son, before her very own eyes. Sorrow returned once again to Emeka's family. The last son soon fell sick with a strange sickness. On his sick bed, He pleaded with his mother and his sister to please make peace with the family of Nwaeze, but pride had kept them from doing so. By the time they agreed, it was too late. The boy died, leaving only the sister. Ada's mother begged her not to let the bloodline end. She pleaded with her to stay in her father's house and bear a child. Ada obeyed and soon gave birth to a son named Sochukuma, a child who carried the light of God. Sochukuma grew up into a young man who loved God deeply. One night in his prayer, God revealed him the curse that followed his family. A curse born with envy, greed, and bloodshed. The spirit of Mr Nwaeze had never rested, and until peace was made, the family of Emeka would continue to suffer. Years passed. Ada died in a tragedy road accident, and her mother too passed away peacefully. So Chukwuma did not give up. He prayed, fasted, and cried out to God for mercy upon his family. And slowly, like dawn after a long night, light began to shine again.